Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're back on iRacing and we're back with a race at Road America in the RUF default setup series, the GT3 spec race car. Starting from P4, did an okay qualifying, it wasn't particularly amazing, but managed to get a reasonably good start straight away from the standing start. So the aim of this race was just to try and keep it as fairly clean as possible and try and make sure we don't lose any positions, so we don't drastically lose too much iRacing. Obviously we're on a bit of a downward spiral at the moment on iRacing because we're just coming back to it. We're not fully back up to speed. We're just trying to get back used to the game and enjoy some different cars, mainly concentrating on the default setup series at the moment because I haven't really got time to go on the setups and work the car setup out, etc. So we're just doing some fun races on the game. This series is actually really enjoyable. I really enjoy this car. It's so much fun to drive as we go through the downhill section on the long straight there, getting very close to slipstream with the car in front. You can see very close racing up in front of us, 3 cars right in front of us, very closely packed together. We're right on the tail of P3 and looking to stay in this group as we've actually got a bit of a gap there to P5. There's a slight gap developed there, and then some other cars following closely behind us. We're looking to make a move on that inside there, not able to make any position up there, and just seeing if we can hang on in and see if we can just pick up the slipstream. The slipstream actually felt quite strong at this combination with this car. I think we were actually doing something wrong with our the clutch on the game. I think we had the setting wrong from, I don't know why it was set on a weird setting, but we were losing a bit of straight line speed on each gear change as we run a little bit wide out of that fast right hand corner and lose a little bit of momentum down this straight now, losing us perhaps a slight amount of slipstream from the car in front, but nothing drastic there. As you look in the top right hand corner, you can see how closely packed this start of this race is. Obviously lap one, everyone very closely tight together and just looking to try and make up some places in this race. As you see, P1 and P2 battling very hard there, looking like P2's trying his luck to see if he can get through at any opportunity. We're just going to hang back here and sit in the slipstream, but down the straights we weren't actually gaining too much. We were pretty much with the slipstream, we were just maintaining the speed of the cars in front. Obviously we're a little bit far back to pick up a massive slipstream from here. However, with the battling that's going on up ahead of us, we should be able to make some ground up when they start really battling. As you do lose time, it's not much, but you do tend to lose time when you're trying to battle with other cars. As you see, nearly 3 wide there going into that corner. It looked like the blue car was going to make a move, pulled out of that decision, which is a good thing to do. It's a good job he did that because it could have been disastrous. As we now head on to lap 2, heading down the straight and looking to pick up some slipstream again, as again they're all battling for that lead position. The blue car's going to go down the middle. Is he going to make that move? No, he decides to brake early and maybe go for the undercut on the inside. Is he going to try that? We try and brake as late as possible because we had a bit of a gap, and that puts us right back in this battle with the lead group of cars. Braking nice and early, as you see there from the replay camera, just how close this action is. 4 cars very closely packed together, and there's another car right behind us now that's getting in on the action. So there's 5 cars battling, all pretty much within slipstream range of each other in this RUF default setup race at Road America. A thoroughly enjoyable competition. I have to say, I love Road America on iRacing. I love it on every game. It's one track that I would love to see arrive on other games like GT Sport that I play quite a lot. It's such an enjoyable combination. Fast flowing corners, long straights, slipstream zones, a lot of overtaking opportunities. It's a good track to make opportunities to overtake, and there's a lot you can actually defend this track really well, even with the overtaking opportunities, due to the way you can take different lines, etc. through some of the corners. But heading on to the end of this lap 2, you can see how close it is now as we're all picking up slipstream from each other and all just trying to stay in the lead group to see if we can pick up any places from mistakes from other cars. As when the racing is this close, one mistake from one of them cars could lead to multiple positions gained. You know, damage on this game is obviously quite extreme. It's a lot more severe than when GT Sport's on the weak setting. Obviously this is, you know, a little bit of contact can wipe you out the race. It can also create damage for your aerodynamics down the straight, so you lose speed, so you end up being really easy to overtake down the straight. So as you see there, we had a little look down that right hand side just to get a little glimpse of the braking zone, really, rather than looking to make a move. I wanted to just see what was going on up ahead, just to give myself some vision beyond the car in front of me, as we're now getting very close in the braking zone, braking a little bit later than the cars in front. Obviously they're very close together, so they're having to be a little bit cautious on the brakes. I had a bit of a gap between me and the blue car, so I could brake a little bit later. As we work our way down the straight now, picking up the slipstream and trying to see if we can maybe make a move if we're close up, but we're a little bit too far back here. We're going to brake in our normal zone, but we brake very late. There you can see on the brakes really late and actually get very close to the blue car in front of us and to see if we can make a move. But again, not close enough really to dive up on the inside. There's no point risking anything this early in the race. This race was about a 30-minute distance race. We're not going to include the whole race on this video. We're just going to try and keep it with the action points as we work our way into the left-hand corner before the long, really aggressive tight right-hand corner, which really kills the tyre wear on the front left-hand tyre. It takes a lot of wear out of the tyres on the left-hand side of the car, but playing with the throttle, just trying to get it to bite in. Obviously traction control on as default with these default setup series, but it's on quite a high level, so you really have to try and bite and get on the throttle and try and work the car through the corner. Obviously not 100% used to this track yet. We had only done a little bit of practice, so trying to work the track out a little bit more as we go through each lap, and just doing reasonably well at the moment. We're staying within the lead battle, which is always good fun when you're in a close race like this on iRacing. In general, the racing's really clean on iRacing. I do love being in races like this where you actually got a reasonable amount of speed. We're not exactly, you know, these are not the top drivers on iRacing. This is just, it's not the most busy series, if I'm honest, the RUF. It's quite a low ranked series, but I have to say the racing in these cars is really enjoyable. I personally really enjoy this car. It feels so nice to drive. It's entertaining to drive. Everyone's on an equal car, so there's no advantage through setup, and it's just really fun to be involved with. And as you can see there down straight though, losing a little bit of time to the car in front, and we've got the driver behind us that's right in our slipstream as well. So luckily for us, we're just about in the slipstream of that blue car though, which has given us the ability to stop the car that's behind us getting too close in the braking zones, obviously, as we're getting that little draft down the straight that's pulling us along that little bit and giving us a little bit of a speed advantage than what we would if we wasn't in the draft zone as we work our way down into the heavy braking zone. Now this is obviously one of the overtaking opportunities that a lot of cars look for. Cars up ahead very close. It looks like there's going to be a move made. The blue car brakes really early because you can see them cars. I have to get out of it, as you see. I would have probably hit the rear of the blue car, so I had to get out of the throttle and put myself in a vulnerable position now with the other RUF that's right on the left hand side of me. We're going to go through these corners side by side. We managed to hold it on the outside there and keep the position, but he tries the undercut on the next right hand corner, which then puts him in a good position to make a move. He darts up on the inside. Is he going to brake late? He goes for the move on the inside. We managed to hold an outside line yet again and just nearly lose control of the car, but managed to avoid making contact there with the other car. But now we're still managing to hold on to this position, fighting for this position quite aggressively, and actually losing a little bit of time to the lead group of cars, as you'll see as we come out of this corner how close it is and how much time we've actually lost. So we're in a battle now for P4. The top three cars have actually broke away there, and I'm actually outside the slipstream, which is a little bit of a shame, but I really wanted to fight for this position. Maybe it would have made sense more to let this other car go. It's probably got a little bit more speed as he goes again to try and go around the outside. You can see it in the top left hand corner on the other camera, but again we managed to fight that position and keep it in this P4 all the way through these corners now. But like I'm saying, I wanted to fight for it because I wasn't sure if I would have been able to make any positions up to the cars in front, so I wanted to hold on to this P4 and wanted to battle it as hard as I could as we work our way up the straight now, as he's going to pick up a massive slipstream all the way up the straight. We're not going to get that slipstream, and like I said, we were losing out on a little bit of straight line speed because I don't know if it was something to do with the clutch settings. We had it on I don't know if it was an automatic setting, but the setting that we had it on was definitely losing us a little bit of time in terms of straight line speed as we go into the right hand corner, and just about managed to fend him off there by braking really late. He did have a little look up the inside, as you can see on that top left hand corner, but he didn't go for that move. And again, trying to make sure we get a nice solid exit onto the back, onto this straight now, working our way into the heavy braking zone, because this is another opportunity where he's going to possibly be able to make a move and see if he can get past us as he's picking that slipstream up. He's getting very, very close to the rear of my car. Go defensive down the left hand side, cover that inside, and then give him a little squeeze to the right hand side, giving him a car's width, and he cuts across right at the end there. You can see his car sliding across the track. Dramatic action there as he slides right across our line. Obviously, I think he actually turned in a little bit too early. We did squeeze him. I think it was partly my fault. Maybe some blame has to be put on my side as we watch it now from the helicopter camera. We give him some space. You can see we did squeeze him to the right hand side, but then he just turned in very early for that corner. Maybe expected me to be taking a tighter line, but I was trying to squeeze him, obviously with defensive driving. So partially my fault, but I think mainly I think he just turned in a bit too early. As we watch it in slow motion now, we squeeze him to the right hand side, giving him a car's width, but then he turns in a little bit too early. I think he maybe thought I was going to turn in much earlier than what I did, but we had the right to do that line there, and I think he just turned in a little bit too early. But like I say, I think it was partially my fault, a bit of a racing incident, but we carry on in P4. But look at the time that we've lost now with this battling. We've gone back to about 3-4 seconds behind the lead group of cars, so we lost quite a bit of time with all that battling, which was a shame. But like I say, I wanted to really hold on to that P4, and it was an entertaining battle while it lasted there. He was about 3 seconds behind us now after that incident. He lost a bit of time, but he did manage to get going quite fast there, straight back out of that incident. So he only lost about 3 seconds. So we skip on a little bit further in the race now as we approach a car that seems like he's struggling, or I think this might have been a back marker or something, some sort of issue with this car up ahead. I'm not too sure what it is, but he looks like he's definitely struggling, possibly with some damage to his car. He doesn't seem to have much straight line speed. You can see how much we're closing in just in terms of straight line acceleration as we go through turn 1, and he's just going to pull over to the right hand side. You can see there, letting us through, and we're still in P4. You can see the 3 cars in the lead just a little bit further up as we again skip on a few laps to the middle sector out now. As you can see, just as we come out of this corner now, you're going to spot the blue RUF just up ahead that seems to be struggling. There is another car with him, so it looks like there's been some sort of incident between P2 and P3 in this race. Something's definitely happened there as we go through this right hand corner. Just look how much the blue car is struggling. Seems to be fishtailing slightly there. Definitely has some sort of damage to the aerodynamics. He's going to try and hold us off though. Is he going to be able to do it? Looking at the speed loss that he's got, look how much further up the car is that's in P2 has gone, and we're getting very, very, very close now to the rear of this blue RUF in front of us, and it looks like he's going to have to just let us pass. He's got no speed at all. He's struggling massively as we go into braking, so he's going to defend on the inside, which in my opinion was a bit silly. He's not got the speed. He's suffering with straight line speed. Just look at the advantage I've got in terms of grip. We can have a little look up on the inside. I expected him to just let me go. He didn't do that, and then he goes defensive on the right hand side. Pretty pointless really, because his car is just suffering massively as we go to take the corner normally, and because of the loss of aero and because he drove defensive, he loses control of the car. He did lose us about a second there, as you can see on the top right hand corner, that we've now got the car that spun off to the side of us before earlier in the race, basically in our slipstream now. You can see him just approaching the slipstream range in that top right hand corner every now and then as the camera pans. As we go through to the replay camera, you can just about make him out there now. Look how close he is. He's verging on picking up that slipstream, so the battle is going to recommence in this race between myself and P3 and the driver in P4. But the blue RUF obviously wanted to fight that position, but in my opinion it was a bit of a silly thing to do. He had no downforce. The car was fishtailing out of corners. It didn't look very safe. He should have really just give up that position and let us through instead of fighting it, and in the end it costed him multiple positions as he spun out onto the grass, and I don't know if he got any further damage. If he would have just played it safe and tried to get the car to the end, he might have been able to hold on to some sort of position, but not so after that incident. As we trying to push really hard in this push, you can see how aggressively I was driving. I could see the other RUF gaining on me. Every straight he was gaining on me, so it was a case of just trying to keep it as fast as we can through these corners and trying to maintain the speed all the way to the end of the race. Can we hold on to the position? We had quite a long way left in the race. I think there was about 10 to 12 minutes left in this race at this point, so we had about 6 laps to try and hold him off at Road America. Obviously each lap is about just over 2 minutes in terms of race distance, as we go through to the really fast right hand corner now, trying to make sure that we don't make any mistakes here by running wide onto the grass and actually hook that up reasonably well onto the power, using all the curb on the left hand side, and work our way into the next heavy braking zone. You can see how close he's getting on that top right hand corner. He is verging on getting a very strong slipstream. Is he going to be able to pick up the slipstream on the main straight? That is going to be the question. Will he be able to pick up enough of a slipstream to go for a move somewhere as we go through the final corners on this lap and see if we can try and get a really strong exit onto the main straight? It's really important to try and make sure you get a good exit. However, we have a massive oversteer moment and we lose a little bit of traction there, and you can just see on that top right hand corner and in the top left hand corner, you'll see how his car is going to slowly creep on into screen as he picks up more of a slipstream. You can see him there in that top left hand corner getting a really strong draft from our car. Is he going to try and make a move into this fast right hand corner? I felt he was too far back, however I saw him just dive up, decided to give him space. I could have turned in then, but I decided to just let him go. It looked like he was just going to throw it in no matter what, but then we're going to brake nice and early here. I think he thought I was going to go for that move there, and we're just going to try and get a strong exit from this corner. We now pick up the slipstream from the car in front of us. So this is a really good battle. We've had the battle before that ended with him sliding, and it's now recommenced, and the racing is actually really enjoyable. I love this. He was a little bit aggressive with that dive, but we're going to pretend to go down that left, then go down to the right side. We're not going to brake too late. We're going to try and get an undercut on him. We brake nice and early, tuck it up the inside, and give ourselves the inside line now for this left-hand corner. You can see it in that top left-hand corner. Just look how close this is between the two of us, side by side. We managed to get our car ahead this time out of that corner and put ourselves back into P3, the final podium position in this race. So some really nice driving there between both drivers, nice and fair, as we now go through to the real long right hand corner that seems to last forever, as we have a massive moment on the curve there, trying to get on the power as aggressively as we can and trying to hold a wide line there so we can get a good exit from the corner. You can see the difference between our lines and the way we take that corner, and nicely onto the curb there. And he has a massive issue there. You can see in the top left hand corner he loses control of the car on the grass, just about manages to catch it, but that gives me a little bit of breathing space again as we work down this straight. This was another opportunity that he could have gone for a move. He seemed to like the move into his right corner. He tried it earlier on in the race, but at the moment he's not managing to get back past. He did manage to get past us, but we managed to fight back straight away and get ourselves back into that final podium position. As again we come to the final corners now. Can we get a stronger exit this time to give ourselves a little bit more chance to defend against him? You can see I take a really wide line, trying to get a smooth exit, but again we have a massive moment on the exit where I'm really trying to get on the throttle a little bit too early, but just about managed to get on it reasonably well enough. Is he going to go for a similar move? He's got probably more of a slipstream this time. However, I was aware that he might go for that. You can see, look in the top left hand corner, we're going to go defensive down that right hand side to block that off, and then try and brake as late as we can while holding the apex on the right hand side and getting on the power as early as possible. Is he going to now go for it on the second right hand corner? He pulls it over to the right hand side. He's going to brake very late, and we're just going to let him take that position and then try and undercut again and pick up a draft all the way down into the next braking zone to see if we can get back past him yet again. As you can see the difference we get with that better exit from that corner. We're going to go down the right hand side, look to go down. He goes to defend the right hand side, but then double defends down the left hand side. I was a little bit annoyed at that. I felt like he double defended a bit there. He braked nice and early there. I braked really late, and we run a little bit wide out of the corner. Can't get on the throttle quite as early as he can, but we lose that position. Unfortunately, I felt like it was a little bit of a double defend, but then he has a massive moment on the rear, loses control of the car in front of us. We give him a little tap, not much we could do. We were slamming on the brakes. You can see it now from the helicopter cameras. We look down the right hand side there. He then goes to defend that as he changes his, you can see the car straighten up and he goes to defend down that right hand side, but then covers the left hand side a little bit, double defending kind of, but then we end up losing that position again to him as we brake a little bit too late for the corner, trying to give him space also, but then through this left hand corner he just loses the rear end. Not much I could do there. I braked, little tap to his car, possibly got a lot of damage on that car there. He ends up disconnecting because he's obviously got damage and probably rage quits a little bit, but we're still in P3 and the car actually just about feels okay. We did get damage, felt a little bit different, but it was still drivable enough to bring it on home and try and see if we can maintain this position. And we actually had another car lose control. I think P2 had an incident as well, which put us up to P2 just a few laps further up from this. We're going to skip through to the final lap as we go through this little stretch section of track. We're going to skip through to the final lap and just go over the line into P2 as we now join the action on the final lap. We're in P2. The P1 had managed to pull away, obviously with all the incidents we had, the contact, we had a bit of damage. There was no point me fighting for P1. He was about 10 seconds ahead, 11 seconds ahead. We just decided to hold back, don't push the car. We had 6 seconds or 5 seconds to the car behind us and go over the line and take quite a well-earned P2. Some really close racing, some action in that, a lot of incidents, some side-by-side racing, really fun to be involved with. And again, another reason why I love iRacing so much, and why I'm going to continue to do this content on iRacing, because I really enjoy the racing. It's so much fun to be involved with, especially in these thick series where everyone's with equal cars. It's thoroughly enjoyable. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you did. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed, and click that notification button so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks again for watching, everyone.